Hey, it's Molly from Alcohol Minimalist, and I've got a question for you. What are you doing this January to change your drinking? I would love to invite you to Mostly Dry January, the daily. I am going live daily with real organic videos showing me out in my life and how I navigate social situations and travel and going out to bars. All the things, and I'll be doing it alcohol free. At least that's my goal. Also, I'm going to do a daily private podcast just for you with motivational tips, boosts, and really to help you just go through the month. I will be doing weekly group coaching calls, and that's a one-on-one chance to talk with me about the things that are coming up for you. This is a program that I don't know if I'll ever do again, and it's happening this January. We start January 1st, and I want you to join me. Go to www.mollywatts.com. There is a button right up at the top that says Mostly Dry January. Click on it, get the details, and join me January 1st. Let's do a Mostly Dry January, the daily, together. Hey, welcome to Think Thursday from the Alcohol Minimalist Podcast. Think Thursday is all about your beautiful, brilliant human brain. We're talking neuroscience. We're talking behavior change. We are talking about your mindset. Are you ready to get started? Let's go. Hey there, it's Molly, and welcome back to another Think Thursday from the Alcohol Minimalist. Happy New Year. It is literally January 1 if you are listening to this in real time. And there's something different about the first day of the year, right? It feels different. Even if you're not setting resolutions, even if you're actively trying not to put pressure on yourself, January 1 still tends to arrive with a quiet sense of expectation. A feeling that this day matters more than most, that something should shift, that this is the moment where things finally click. And truthfully, that feeling isn't random. January 1 carries a lot of psychological weight, not because the calendar has magical powers, but because of how the brain responds to time and possibility and the idea of a clean slate. Today, I want to talk about the myth of the fresh start brain and why January 1 feels so powerful, why that feeling often fades, and what actually works better if you want real, sustainable behavior change. This episode isn't about taking hope away. It's about giving hope a sturdier foundation. Let's get into it. I was listening to the Mel Robbins podcast earlier this week and to Dr. Katy Milkman. And if you don't know who Katy Milkman is, she is the James G. Dinan Professor at the Wharton School of Business at the University of Pennsylvania. And she co-founded there at the University of Pennsylvania the Behavior Change for Good initiative. And she's been working on studying behavior change for more than 20 years. In both 2021 and 2023, Katy Milkman was named one of the world's top 50 management thinkers by Thinkers 50. And in 2021, she was also named the world's top strategy thinker. She wrote in 2021, How to Change the Science of Getting from Where You Are to Where You Want to Be, and was rated one of the 8 best books for healthy living in 2021. I will link it in the show notes. So Dr. Milkman is a very authoritative expertise when it comes to behavior change, right? And she has done a lot of work on kind of understanding the roadblocks that come up for people. And one of the things, or also things that are just shared kind of experiences around behavior change. And one of those is this fresh start effect. And she has spent years studying the fresh start effect. Her research shows that certain moments in time, what psychologists refer to as temporal landmarks, make change feel more possible. So she was actually giving that as a as kind of a thing to leverage when you are trying to create sustainable change. Choose a starting point like January 1 because of the fresh start effect. It doesn't have to be just New Year's Day or the new year. These landmarks can include things like Mondays, the proverbial I'll start again on Monday. They could be birthdays or a new job or a move to a different place, and especially the start of a new year. And they work because they create psychological distance. We mentally separate who I was from who I could be. The past feels contained and the future feels more open. From a brain perspective, this matters because imagining a future version of yourself activates motivation and reward circuits. Dopamine rises, not because you've achieved something, but because you're anticipating possibility. Dopamine is often misunderstood as a pleasure chemical, but it's really all about potential. It's the brain saying something could be different. And that's why January 1st can feel energizing even before you've done anything. The brain is simulating a better future. But here's the important distinction. Simulation feels good, right? In the moment. But rewiring takes time. And this is where many people get tripped up. Neuroscience gives us a very different picture of how change actually happens. Habits live in neural pathways that are strengthened through repetition. The brain is an efficiency machine. Once a pathway is well established, the brain prefers to use it because it costs less energy. The basal ganglia, the part of the brain involved in habit loops, does not respond to symbolism. It doesn't know it's January 1st. It responds to cues, to routines, and to repeated behavior. Your stress physiology doesn't reset overnight. Your sleep patterns don't reset overnight. And your emotional learning really doesn't reset overnight. From the brain's point of view, January 1st is simply the day after December 31st. And this is why motivation often peaks early in January and then drops. The dopamine surge from anticipation fades, and the brain returns to its default mode of conserving energy. When that happens, people often assume something went wrong. But nothing went wrong. The brain did exactly what the brain is designed to do. And that is, again, take the path of least resistance. Understanding this is powerful because it replaces self-judgment with understanding of how your brain works. It explains why willpower alone rarely carries us very far and why structure matters more than inspiration. And here's where the fresh start myth, right? So I want to separate that. I want to say, so Dr. Katy Milkman talks about the fresh start effect, and that's definitely real. Having these temporal landmarks, very real. But the myth that it's a great place to get you to start, but it can quietly work against us. When we frame January as a chance to become a completely new person, we unintentionally, I should say, suggest that the current version of us is somehow unacceptable or flawed. From a psychological or neurological standpoint, that creates internal friction. Research on identity-based behavior change shows that when people reject their past or present selves, shame increases and self-trust decreases. The brain interprets this internal conflict as a threat. And when the brain senses threat, the prefrontal cortex, that logical part, our goal-oriented, future-focused prefrontal cortex, becomes less effective. And that's when all or nothing thinking shows up. I already messed up. I've ruined my mostly dry January. I guess I can't do this. Ironically, the pressure to reinvent yourself often makes change harder, not easier. The brain doesn't rewire through self-rejection. It rewires through evidence. Small, incremental steps, repeated behaviors teach the brain, this is who I am now, or this is who I am becoming. So, if the fresh start brain is a myth, what actually helps? Well, Katy Milkman's research offers a useful reframe. Fresh starts are helpful, like I said, as entry points, but they are not the engines of sustainable change. From a brain perspective, lasting change comes from momentum. So let's break it down. Instead of starting over, ask yourself, what are you continuing? Even partial alignment matters. The brain builds on what already exists. So if you started making some small changes already, even the decision to make small changes or write a goal down or decide that this is who you want to become, that decision is something that you'll be continuing. The brain builds on what already exists. Remember, it's iteration over intensity. Neural pathways strengthen through repetition. Intensity creates excitement, but iteration creates wiring. So we got to capture all this enthusiasm and excitement for the new year, but we want to stick with it. We want to take small steps so that we can do them and build over time. Identity is something that happens through evidence. You don't become a different person simply by deciding. You become a different person by showing your brain repeatedly that this new behavior is a part of your life. And that's why, it's important to like what you're doing. In that episode from Mel Robbins, Dr. Milkman talked about temptation packaging so that you are building things that you don't want to do, packaging them with things that you definitely want to do so that you can establish new routines, that if a behavior feels like you never want to do it, that's kind of what I talk about all the time here at Alcohol Minimalist, right? We got to make the lifestyle that we want to achieve something that we actually enjoy doing. And reducing friction, environment over willpower, right? Reducing friction matters more than increasing motivation. Make fewer decisions, get clearer defaults, get supportive cues. Now, these ideas align with so many Think Thursday conversations that we've had about consistency, about belief echoes, about the illusion of starting over. The brain doesn't need a dramatic beginning. It needs a steady path forward. So what if January wasn't all about transformation? What if it was about strengthening? Instead of asking, what am I changing this year? You might ask, what am I going to reinforce? Instead of new habits, think more aligned habits. Instead of discipline, think design. Instead of a perfect January, think informative January. Dr. Milkman's work emphasizes experimentation. January doesn't need to be a performance. It can be a month of noticing. What supports your energy? What drains it? What actually fits your real life, not an imagined version of it. From a brain health perspective, curiosity keeps the prefrontal cortex engaged. It supports learning without triggering threat. And that's where change really becomes sustainable. So here's the takeaway for this Happy New Year's Think Thursday edition. January 1st doesn't reset your brain, and that's not bad news. It means you're not starting from zero. You're carrying forward awareness, skills, and lived experience. The fresh start effect, it can open the door, but real change happens by walking through it slowly, consistently, and with trust. So if today feels hopeful, let yourself enjoy that. And if today feels ordinary, that's okay too. Your brain doesn't need a dramatic beginning. It needs patience, repetition, and compassion. That's all I have for you today, my friends. Until next time, choose peace, and I will see you on Monday.